Okay, so Tim Collins has been doing this for a long time and should probably be up on stage. 4 months in real estate for Melissa. That's awesome. Marsha has 0. She's got 2 months. Oh, you guys are in the right room. Oh, I'm not going to pronounce her name right. Juan, maybe? Juan for Texas is in her first month. You're brand new to EXP. Oh, I always get this wrong. Tara or Tara? You'll have to let me know. I have a good friend. I always call her Tara, but then I met someone else who likes to be called Tara. So brand new to EXP, welcome. We're so glad you're here. You've been here for a month as an agent. Whitney, 9 years, but you started selling 3 weeks ago. I'm sure there's a good story behind that.
Hi there.
Hi, are you going to tell us your story?
Oh, yeah, sure. I got my license, like I said, 9 years ago, and I started using it for property management because my parents had a property management company, and so I would sell their or show their properties. And then I stopped to be a stay-at-home mommy for 7 years. And I never let my license expire. I always renewed it and kept it up. And we just had our 4th baby about, gosh, he's 15 weeks old now. And I just decided, you know what, I've had this license for so long. Let's start using this for something I can kind of tailor around my family, like selling houses. So
awesome.
Here we go.
Congratulations on the babies. That's so cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we've got 2 more minutes before we're going to start. For anyone who's just joined us, if you can put in the chat box how long you've been licensed. And it looks like we've got a great range, so we can talk to some tips for new people as well as oh my gosh, is it Arcia? I love that. Over 25 years. So she started when she was born. I celebrate the anniversary of my 29th birthday every year, so we're good.
Hi, it's pronounced Arsha, like Marsha.
Arsha. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. And 25 years, that's impressive. Lots of changes you've seen in this industry, I can imagine.
Survived lots of crazy things.
Yeah. You started out with the dinosaurs and now we're here. See, people don't remember. We have to do things in like triplicate with a pen. I think has 1 month. That's exciting. Scott's got over 20 years. Angela's got 1 year and 6 months.
If I could say one thing.
Yes.
I have been listening to your ICONversations. I just started a month ago with EXP and I'm really enjoying them.
Oh, welcome. You know, it's funny. I have been with EXP since November 2017, over maybe 1.5 years. And I just this year got into them because I think when you come, you're just so focused on figuring out what's going on and what you're doing and all that stuff. I love them. Every week I get the best nuggets and tips, and I always make it a point to come, besides just to support fellow icons and EXPers, but I think it's so cool. Just these, little nuggets of information you get that I would have never thought of or didn't even know was happening in the industry. Okay, so it's noon. We're going to get started. If anyone's just joining us again, we had talked about putting how many years in real estate in the chat box so we have an idea of our audience. And we've got 3 awesome panelists that I think we're going to start off with just having you guys go down the line and introduce yourselves. So if you want to start, Aaron, it looks like you're on the end, so I'll let you start.
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Aaron Rawls. I've been with EXP for about 1.5 years. I was with another brokerage for approximately 2 years. Prior to that, I only have 3.5 years in since getting my license. And I have nothing but phenomenal things to say about EXP. I was actually just recruited 2 days ago from another big brokerage trying to get my wife and I over there, and I told them there pretty much wasn't any way that I would do it, and I'm super happy with EXP. Honored to be up here on the panel, and I look forward to answering any questions that I can as this progresses.
Thanks, Aaron. Do you want to go next? Do I just my screen? Rick.
I guess you're asking me to go next?
Sure.
Okay. My name is Serge Borgwine. I'm here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Been with EXP less than a year. You know, this was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my career. I started in 1985 when I was maybe 5 years old or something. You know, it's been a long journey, and this is where I ended up, and I'm loving it.
That's awesome. Rick, what about you?
Hi, I'm Rick Southwick, live in Ogden, Utah. I've been in the business as long as Serge, got licensed at a young age in 1985, and I've been with EXP almost 3 years. I discovered EXP over 3 years ago, and then ended up opening the Utah for EXP, and I'm still the designated managing broker for Utah.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for you guys. What an awesome panel, because I always love to hear people from Canada because their market is so different than ours, and their business practices are as well, especially advertising and soliciting and lead gen. And then to have that kind of knowledge and brokerage experience. And then we've got someone I think all of you can relate to, with Aaron being so new, but yet obviously successful as part of the panel. So thank you guys for being here, both on the panel and in the audience. I think we're going to have a great day. I think first what I'd like to talk to a little bit about is what do you think contributes to your ICON success? How you got here? How long did it take you to reach this? And you could touch on a little bit about maybe your volume, your business, whether you're team or solo, but you know, how did you make it on this stage basically? And then Aaron, we'll start with you because you're closest to me.
Okay. I think the things that really helps me reach a level of production where I was fortunate enough to be named an icon the first year that I moved to EXP is in the town I live in, I have another business which really helps feed the real estate. So I think anytime you're able to cross promote or market yourself with anything else that you're interested in, whether it's your kids' sports, church, the gym, you know, anything like that, I think really helps feed the business. So my lead generation is barbershop. I own a barbershop. So a lot of my business comes from there. And I know a lot of people in the community where I live, and it helps a lot.
I think that, you know, as we always say, real estate is a face-to-face, belly-to-belly kind of business, and that's awesome. I actually have a good friend, same thing, owns a barber shop, and you know how it is. It's like bartenders and your hairdresser. I mean, they know all your secrets, and people tell everything, so they know when it's a baby or a divorce or a move or whatever. That's a great avenue to, you know, kind of, I hate the word exploit in a negative way, but to use to your advantage. So if you don't own a barbershop, I would recommend, as you said, other community groups or get involved. Serge, what about you?
Well, I just wanted to ask Aaron a quick question.
Oh, sure.
Here. You know, that book, The Wealthy Barber, was that based on you?
Not yet. Hopefully I can write the sequel to that.
There you go. There you go. Well, like I said, I've been with EXP less than a year, and unfortunately, I was out for almost half of that with some health issues. But you know, I have a small team. I have a couple part-time agents that work with me, and we have a tremendous lead generation system that we had going before we came to EXP. I own findmyhouse.ca, and I was able to, you know, that business to my associates, and with that, and now being able to get back to work here in January, helped me get there. So, it's important, that you have a good lead generation system, but never ever forget that what will get you there is the basics. Get back to the basics, and you have to put in the work. And that's about all I can really say on that, other than expanding on it later on, maybe.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to talk lead gen. I think what everyone loves and hates at the same time. Rick, what about you?
I'm a solo agent. I have one assistant that's been with me for 4.5 years. She's in the process of getting her license. I close 35 transactions a year currently, and I just make it a priority to make it a goal to hit that icon status. So first thing you've got to do is you've got to do enough business to cap, and then track your transactions to make sure you hit the fees to become an icon, and then the other, the involvement and the giving back to hit icon status.
I think that leads really well into one of my other questions, which is, what does your annual goal setting and planning look like? I came from Keller Williams, so we had a tool called the 411 that we used to do, which is your annual goal, and they broke down by month and then week. But what does your goal setting look like? Do you do it once a year and then you keep on it, or how do you do that? As well as, what is your accountability for that?
I'll go ahead. So goal setting for me, I start off, my goal for this year is 100 transactions. I also forgot to mention, I do have a small team, as well as my wife that's able to really help a lot. My wife was able to help me with our business. She worked for the state of California for 21 years and was able to quit her job a year ago because I was getting a little overwhelmed with the business of real estate, and she's been able to help a lot. But my current goals are 100 transactions for the year, and I pretty much wake up every day with an intent of making a contact or creating a creating a network to where I can just touch as many people and let as many people know that I'm doing real estate as possible. And I'm also still active in open houses. The best month that I've had in real estate was as a direct result of continuous open houses. So if there's newer agents in the crowd, I strongly recommend doing open houses. I think it's the backbone of our business, and it goes overlooked by a lot of agents a lot of times.
I agree with that. I think that's smart. Rick, what about you for your goal setting and keeping yourself accountable?
I start in the fall setting goals for business, personal life, financial, my relationship with my wife and everything, and then I've got a page on each of those in my planner. I do a lot of things online, but for my goals, I track them on paper, and I try and look at those every day, and kind of work backward what I've got to be doing each month, each week. I also came from KW, so I don't use the 411 anymore specifically, but that sort of planning's been very helpful over the years. But I think if you're not looking at your goals every week, every day, it's very easy to get off track, and your weeks are a month down the road, and you're off track, and you've got to scramble to get back. So keeping your eye on the balls.
Right? How hard is it in November to go, oh my gosh, I'm 40 houses away from my goal, as opposed to if you have to sell one house a week or one a month, whatever your goal is, to always be tracking it and aware, then you can course correct very quickly. But whether it's a Excel spreadsheet or something on paper, it's very important, I believe, to have goals. We do the same thing on our team. We usually go September. We'll do a retreat where it's a day or two. We've actually contracted our team, so we're smaller now. We just do it. We go to the beach and stuff like that to add some fun. But we always set our goals for the year. We set our advertising budget, which makes it very easy in July for someone to pitch me something, and I say, send me your information. Maybe it'll meet the budget next year, but when you have that kind of goal, I think, and it's really well written and understood, it makes things saying yes or no every day easy, whether it's money, time, that kind of stuff. Serge, what do you do?
Well, I for years have been in coaching. I've had different coaching organizations that I've worked with in the past, and currently I'm with the Tom Ferry organization for my coaching. They have the tools that helps me create my goals and my business plan for that particular year. But I think what's important is knowing what your goal is, and then reverse engineering it. And this is where understanding your numbers and keeping track of your numbers are really, really important. Because if you start keeping track of your numbers, you go, okay, it takes me this many conversations to get an appointment, and then it takes me this many appointments to result in a transaction. Well, if you know what that is, you go, okay, well, my goal is to say sell 50 homes or whatever that your number might be. And go, okay, if it's 50 transactions, then I know this is how many appointments I need to go on. And to go on this many appointments, this is how many conversations I need to have. And so if you start tracking and understanding your numbers, you can make your business more predictable. And you can say, all right, I need to talk to 20 people a day, or I need to talk to 10 people a day, and ask and discuss real estate. So, really keeping track of your numbers is something that's new people find really difficult to do, and they don't understand the value behind it. And they think that, I don't have time for this. I encourage you to do it, understanding your numbers, and you go, okay, well, it only takes me 10 conversations to book one appointment, and I have a transaction every 3 appointments I go on. Then your business can start becoming predictable.
Absolutely. And that's something that we look at when I'm talking to other agents in their business, is sometimes it's not about increasing your lead gen. It may be all we need to do is maybe increase your average sales price by 25,000. So what does that look like? So you have to know your numbers, where your business comes from and all that to make those kind of tweaks. It maybe we get better at, lead conversion for you. You've got enough lead generation. We just need to hone the skills to convert. So there's an awesome class. I don't know. I'm sure there's someone in the chat that can put it in, but it's about business planning every week in the cloud. And that's basically what they do is what's your average sales price in your market? How, those kind of things. And they walk you through to get you to have this business plan and goal setting. And exactly as Kelly says, know your numbers. And I think that leads, Sarah, we're going to talk, you can go next about your lead generation, because that's kind of the key to business. What's your most effective lead gen tool process? How much time do you spend every day doing it? And knowing you said Tom Ferry, I'm assuming it's a lot of phone calls for you.
I don't know why anybody thinks that Tom Ferry is a lot of phone calls. That's
Really?
Mike Ferry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
That's Mike Ferry.
Right.
That's Tom's dad. But and I've been in both coaching, and without a doubt, prospecting, making those phone calls is critically important. But our system for a lot of my agents on my team, I only have 2 agents, but for the agents on my team, is the leads that we generate off the website. Okay, so now the thing I have to do with them is make sure that they have the proper skills to now have a better conversion rate with those people, and creating a proper follow-up drip campaign that you can do in KV Core. And internet leads typically have longer horizons between when they first sign up and when they're ready to buy. If you generate a lead that comes from a Google AdWords campaign, for instance, their typical time frames could be today to a year out. So they're actually searching. If they're going to Google AdWords, they're actually actively searching for a home. If you do campaigns on social media and Facebook, we find that, our stats kind of show that their timeline could be as long as 2 years out. because they're not really looking or searching for home. They just happen to see your post on their feed, and they're just curious at this point. So when we design our drip campaigns or follow-up campaigns for internet leads, it's 2 years. We have a 2-year campaign that we design that goes out, and but for me personally, it's working my sphere of influence. After being in the business for so long, I have a significant sphere of influence, and that's where a majority of my personal business comes from.
So what does that look like on a daily basis in terms of time and activity for lead gen for you?
For me personally, well, I'll kind of put it this way. I actually put up to 3 hours a day in prospecting. And I typically, the first hour is working on new leads. The next hour is dedicated to following up with old leads that I'm nurturing and bringing along. And if I have time for the third hour, that's when I prospect for my EXP business for attraction.
And are you doing it primarily through phone calls, emails, face-to-face?
Yes. All of the above.
That was a good answer. That's funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, Aaron, let's go to you because they also want to hear about your open house secrets. So you can tell me about that with your lead gen. Did I lose Aaron?
Oh, I'm sorry, Brenda. I thought you were talking to Rick. What'd you say?
That happens in my office all the time with my staff too. I was saying that everyone in the chat box wants to hear about your open house secrets. So you can add that in with talking about your lead gen and what that looks like for you.
Okay, so not only do I do open houses regularly, I teach my team pretty consistently. The major mistakes that I hear people make during open houses, and I was just at one previewing a home for my client this weekend, and it was a busy open house with an amazing home and a $900,000 price point. And there was an agent from another company there, and he had great charisma, real outgoing, real friendly. But the one thing that he never did was ask for anyone's business. Anytime before, when I do an open house, before people leave, the number one thing I never do, I never ask if they're working with an agent. Because once they say that, you can no longer try to gain a client. So I just assume that everyone that comes in without an agent does not have an agent, and I act accordingly. And I'm friendly, I'm approachable, I'm not pushy, I give them their space, but every single time before they leave, I make sure that they have my card and that they know that I would love the opportunity to earn their business. And I leave it as simple as that. One of the main mistakes that people make at the end when it comes to real estate is simply not asking for the business. And the best month I ever had was a direct result of just implementing that. And it seems like such a simple thing, but people get caught up. Or I've been to open houses where the agents are sitting on the couch playing on their phone with people coming in, and they say hi, and the flyers are on the counter, and it's pretty obvious they're not fighting to earn the business. And when I do open houses, it's very welcoming. It's not salesy. It's just really genuine and low pressure and natural. And the conversion rate has been phenomenal. And I think if just more people went that extra step to not only remembering their names when they came in, good to meet you, Rick. Great to meet you, Brenda. If you guys need any help, my team and I work primarily in this area. We would love the opportunity to earn your business, because I want them leaving that open house, getting in the car going, wow, that guy was cool. And if they did have an agent, they're thinking, he was a lot easier going than our other agent. He seems like a hustler, and that's how I do it. I try to set the tone to just, make a genuine connection and make friends out of it, and it always just pays off.
So I assume then your success is secret sauce is the follow-up then.
Well, the follow-up and just being natural, I've been to these other open houses, and I remember one specifically. There's a lender and an agent behind a table as I walked into the house, and they said, hi, the owners have asked that everyone sign in for security reasons. This is before they knew I was an agent. And we all know that's not true for the most part. And even if someone did sign in, what are the odds they're giving you the right information? So I thought, this is about 2 years ago, and I thought, what a horrible way to make a first impression on someone is starting off with a lie. What more than likely was a lie. And because we all know they're just trying to get data to be able to do follow up and things like that. I don't ask people to sign in for my open houses. When they are there, I let them know that we do work in this area. If they want me to email them listings, I can. But I also tell them, I'm not going to be calling you. I'm not going to be harassing you. And they laugh because most of the people coming through house hunting now kind of know the deal. And I'm just really sign in. If they want to leave their info, if they have something they want me to check on for them, then I'm all over it immediately. Other than that, it's just really low key.
So what is your lead gen for your business look like on a daily basis?
My lead gen, I've never once made a cold call. I have a big referral network, and then, like I said, I have the barbershop. So I'm tattooed head to toe. Pretty much from my neck to my knuckles, I'm tattooed. My community is the barbershop. Classic cars, motorcycles. I don't try to be something I'm not. I'm just a kind of a blue collar, hardworking guy that's relatable. And my network, my lead generation is just being active in the community. I'm really active with local nonprofits. I have coached my kids in baseball, coached my kids in soccer. I've been just active in the community and a genuine part of it for so long that's kind of what I rely on, and that's how we get our business. And my wife, same thing. She, with her career with the state, she made a lot of connections, so we're just really kind of plugged in our area.
Yeah, I don't know who from corporate comes to iConversations, but that's brilliant. We need our icons to be able to have tattoos or avatars. So
Yeah.
somebody put that on the to-do list, please.
Hey, it's kind of nice being able to hide them sometimes.
All right, Rick, what does it look like for you?
At this stage of the game, my business is 75% or better repeat and referral. So I focus on trying to stay in touch with those people, whether it's online through Facebook or I've got a good number of clients that aren't social media involved or savvy at all. So I do some old school stuff. I use a Reminder Media magazine that goes out 6 times a year. And I use that just for the people that aren't online. But I think as a new agent starting out, it's not a whole lot different. The first thing you've got to do is let everybody in the world know that you're in real estate and you'd like to help them. The nature of this, it's a relationship business. You can do transactional business, but it's tough and I think it's tough to sustain over the long term. So you start out transactionally, you build relationships, and I think I'm curious to hear from Aaron and Serge, but the majority of my business is listing driven. I don't know a better way to generate buyer business than to have a listing and to have signs out there and be able to market those properties. So real estate's not it's not a complex business, but it's also not an easy business.
I believe that. I say it all the time. I said, I don't think it's rocket science.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, but you've got to be diligent. You've got to be consistent. Aaron, somebody asked me where you were in California. Well, they didn't ask me. They put it in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I'm in Sacramento, California, Folsom area. My barbershop is called Lucky's Barbershop in Folsom.
All right, everyone go visit him. We have a fair amount of new agents. What is your advice to someone just starting out in real estate? Do you have any guidance, any nuggets that we can give them? Serge, what about you?
I think, you have to start making sure that you've built your database, your sphere of influence. Everybody should have at least 200 people that they know. Get these people into a good CRM like KV Core and create a kind of a follow-up system to keep in touch with those people. Literally, you should probably be looking at doing anywhere between 28 to 36 touches a year with those people. Your first 12 are really, really easy. Right within KV Core, you can do market report. There's your first 12 right off the hop. You got started. Then you can do like special occasions, Christmas, New Year's, Easter, Thanksgiving, whatever it is that you celebrate. And then after that, just start peppering in some other personal stuff that's in there. Don't get all business. You want to mix business and some non-business, and you want to make sure that you schedule at least 4 phone calls a year. You get 4 personal contacts per year. I don't care if it's a phone call, go for coffee, meet them at a social event, whatever it is. Have at least 4 personal contacts. That is going to be the core of your business that you're going to continue building as you're going to be adding people that maybe you're collecting information from at open houses, past clients as you start doing deals. You want to build that database because in the long run, that database is going to be golden.
Absolutely. Aaron, what about you? What do you have to say to the new agents?
Okay, one of the things that helped me when I got into real estate is I started to study business. Well, although I owned the barbershop already, it was a little different. That was a little easier, I would say, than getting into real estate. Real estate's difficult. And one of the things that I realize with new agents that I come across is if you decided you were going to become a professional tennis player, the things you would start doing would be watching tennis videos, maybe tennis training videos. You'd start exercising more. You'd start watching tape. You'd probably hire a coach. But when it comes to real estate, a lot of people, go through the trouble of getting the license, but don't study the other aspects of what it takes to become truly successful. And that's mental mindset, business. Tom Ferry, I know Serge is a member of their coaching program. People that reach great levels typically have coaches, typically have strong mentors, and if you can invest the time and money into yourself to teach you those things, you'll be much better off. I think the number one flaw is people not seeking the knowledge. You could sit on YouTube for the next 6 months straight with no breaks and watch training videos on real estate. There's so much great content out there that, and it's free. And I don't think a lot of people tap into what you can do to really reach that next level.
Advice. I was actually doing this webinar and I was watching my camera and I was sitting in front of my bookshelf in my home office and it is flooded with business books about real estate, but also other industries. And I thought, gosh, I'm not taking the time to actually read these. Like my bookshelf is impressive, but I've got to do that. For all of you starting out, I know a lot of kind of the limiting belief is maybe you don't have money for a coach. But for me, I was in a place where I was stuck. I jumped and I didn't have the money either. And it was pure fear the whole time because I knew I had to pay this monthly bill. But that was the kind of action it was going to take to turn our team around. And I went with Julie Harris from Tim and Julie Harris, and they've got a great podcast, and that's free. So as Aaron was saying, there's a lot of free resources out there. So I pay Julie $2,000 a month, and you can get most of their nuggets during the podcast. So at least start there. Start on YouTube. Start really, I feel like you get your license, then you're just let loose on the world and not having a lot of focus on continuing that education or building your skills because you're so focused on, I got to get my first sale or transaction. I can't wait to hear from Rick because as the broker, he deals with new agents all the time. So I'm sure you've got lots of great insights for us.
Well, I'd echo everything that Serge and Aaron have already said. I mean, getting some basic sales scripts, some a listing presentation script, a buyer routine that you go through and ask how to show property and asking buyers questions that lead to closings. There's a ton of great training here in the cloud with EXP. The mentor program that we have, if you get plugged in with a good mentor, they can be a huge asset for you. And that's essentially a coach that you only pay when you close transactions. The one other thing that I think would be extremely helpful for new agents is do a little bit of tax planning up front. Figure out in your state whether you need to be an LLC or a professional corporation or an S Corp, and get that set up right away so you don't pay more to the IRS than you have to. And then secondly, save 20% of every commission. Just put it in a separate account at a separate bank and don't touch that so you don't get in trouble with the IRS, because as independent contractors, if you're coming out of a W-2 environment, that can really bite you.
Especially, for us that have been in the business for a while, we get used to it. I don't know that some of us ever get good at it. But you get a check. I mean, in my marketplace, the average sales price is $500,000. So I sell a house, I get a check, $15,000, $16,000. Well, wow. I mean, that's what some people in America make in 6 months. But I have to have the responsibility of making that last. So in 3 months from now, I can still pay my bills. And I think that takes a lot of skill as well that we don't necessarily focus on in our trainings as much. Let's talk about, for the people who've been in business for a while.
Actually, Brenda, could I just throw something
Sure,
in
of
before we move on to the next topic? We're talking about resources for new people. If you're kind of looking at, I'm looking for good scripts and objection handling techniques, there is a great resource. It's on the Mike Ferry website, not Tom Ferry, but Mike Ferry. You can download his book of scripts for free. So that's a free resource if you want to do that. And I think Tom Ferry also will allow you to download his book of scripts for free. And you were talking a little earlier about all these books that we have, and I'm guilty like you are. I've got more books than I've read, but they're on my to-do list. But a great book that I think that new people might want to take a look at. It's a quick, easy read. It's called Miracle Morning for Realtors.
Hank, right? Is his name Hank?
I forget the author's name right off the top of my head because I've let my book out to someone and they haven't returned it yet.
He has his regular book is Miracle Mornings, and then he's a great Hal. That's it. Thank you guys. Hal has a really compelling story. That's I'm a night owl, so I was 100% go just from the title against this book, but it's amazing. So I definitely recommend it. As Serge said, it's a thin book. It goes pretty quick.
Brenda.
Yes.
Do you mind if I throw one more thing out just before I forget?
Please do.
So earlier, especially with the new agents, I know when you hear, agents that regularly use the phone to generate business, calling for sell by owners, expireds, things like that, that truly does terrify a lot of new agents. And one of the things that I would just say is, if you feel like that isn't your strong suit, go all in on open houses. When you're holding an open house, you've got clients that want to be helped coming in. These people are looking to buy a home. And if you just re-engineer your brain from from being a salesperson, I'm using finger quotes, to just trying to genuinely help someone, your tension and your anxiety is going to drop 100%. It'll be a lot more natural when these people are coming to you rather than you disrupting someone at dinner, calling them about trying to live. You know, they know you're calling to sell them. And the open houses for me, and you know, for especially when I was new, I think were a very good, natural, easy way for me to ease into business and get comfortable. So that's all I want to throw out there. You don't have to do cold calls, even though they do work. And you put in enough reps, you're going to get the business. So if that truly does terrify you, rather than backing away from you know, trying to generate listings altogether, do something like the open houses. That's a little more, in my opinion, it's a little more easy.
Yeah, I second that. I used to teach a class in the cloud, and we're going to get it going again, about my whole sphere is really from farming, is where it originally started. And I applaud anyone that cold calls. I'm so in awe of that, because I won't do it. It literally makes me nauseous. And at KW, they have a training class called Bold, and that's all it was. And I really it makes me sick to think about it. So the beauty of real estate is that we can create our own business to be however we want it to be. And if cold calling's not your suit, you love face to face, then go door to door. You don't have to do it any one way. And Aaron's right. You know, for those of you who are really new, you're going to say, no, I don't have any listings. All you have to do is go to Workplace. I think every state has their own group. Some states, like we have a subsection of the Virginia group in Northern Virginia. Just put it out there. Hey, I'm a new agent. I'm looking for open houses. Go into your MLS and search by broker, and you can pull up all the EXP listings and approach the agents and say, hey, can I hold it open? For us, we do a lot of open houses. I mean, we've, Realtor, National Association of Realtors, I think, have branded Sundays from 1 to 4, at least in our area. But we are doing Saturdays. We do Thursday nights. I have a good friend who just did a Friday night with wine and cheese. So because an agent may already have one planned for Sunday doesn't mean you can't jump on that and hold that open. So there's a lot of those kind of opportunities within our company, I think. So for the agents who have been in the business a while, what's the one thing or a couple of things you would have done differently or wish you had known in your business to get you where you are today, maybe faster, or where you kind of lost some traction or time because you focused on something that wasn't productive to get you where you want to go? Sarah, you've had a lot of time in the business. What do you think?
I apologize. Can you ask that question again? Sorry.
What is one or a couple of things that you would have done differently or wish you had known in your business from where you are today, looking back, that maybe you wasted time or you wish you had known to get you to success faster?
I'm actually going to tell a slightly different story, in that I actually left the industry for a little while. I burnt myself out. I was at my peak. I was doing 43 transactions a month, working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I burnt myself out. And I decided to leave the industry for a while, and decided I'm never coming back to real estate. I'm leaving Edmonton, and I'm never coming back. And lo and behold, 5 years later, I'm back in the industry, and foolishly, I had deleted my database, and thinking that I would never have a need for it ever again. And coming back, going back to the basics, doing open houses, and in comes one of my past clients with another realtor saying, Serge, we didn't know you were still in the business. What happened to you? We lost track. So, building that database is one of the most important things you'll ever do. Treasure it, protect it, don't ever lose it.
Yeah, that's kind of banker, Texas money. Their assets are cash or Bitcoin, I don't know. But that's our commodity, is our database, I think. Aaron, what about you? You haven't been with us 20 plus years, but you've got here quickly. So have there been things that you wish you had maybe done differently or wish you had known?
I wish I would have listened to a friend of mine who's probably in the crowd somewhere here named Justin Padilla. He's the one that got me into EXP. And at the other brokerage I was with, I liked having an incentive, so I would prepay my cap for the entire year. At the beginning of the year, just hand my broker a check, and that was a big motivation for me. The cap over there I was paying was 14,000, so I'd prepay my cap and just start getting after it. That was my motivation. And for over a year, I wouldn't listen to a friend of mine when he was trying to tell me about EXP. And finally one day he called me when my wife and I were in the car and made us promise to listen to what he had to say and watch the video. And I did. And I'll tell you what, I couldn't go to sleep. I didn't fall asleep till about 1:30 in the morning, because I realized over the course of that year how much I had left on the table, all because I was real happy about having my low cap and having a nice office. And the main thing I would have changed would be to have done that. But otherwise, no. The main advice I would give is, if those of you that utilize social media should be used to tell a story. Take your friends and family on the journey with you when you are doing different parts of it, even the parts that aren't fun, the parts that aren't glamorous. It's so easy to post the photos and videos of the cool mixers. Well, guess what? You're not making money at those mixers, and everything isn't roses. So, show the mud on your boots when you're picking up open house signs and you're getting rained on, and the open house you did where not one person came by. People like to be part of it and tell the story, and just stay relevant using your social. That's about it.
Yeah, I think that's really true. I think, I was actually, it's another ICONversation saying they use their social media so that when somebody posts they had a baby, they're getting married, like anything in their life, they pick up the phone and call, because so many people just click like so quickly. But so 150 people liked it, but to actually take that extra step and make that personal content, I thought was brilliant, because it really sets you apart from everyone else.
A friend of mine is a lender, and he does that very same thing, and he absolutely crushes it because of that.
Right?
And they're always surprised and thankful for the phone call.
Yep. We use social media to stalk our clients. So we data mine them and their kids. We send out birthday cards. Anything to celebrate, we celebrate with them. All right, Rick, what about you? What do you wish you knew or could change?
Brenda, I'd say three things. Number one, my business really took off after I got involved with Mike Ferry. So I would go download those Mike Ferry scripts. Secondly, I would get very proficient at the listing and the purchase contracts for your state. And third, I would get out there and preview properties in your area, so you're an expert on the market. And when you meet people, you can talk to them intelligently about what's on the market and how you can help them. And actually, one final thing, go to your local board, join a committee, get involved, get to know the other realtors in the area.
Yeah, I think for me, in our area, it's Tuesday. We have a thing called a broker's tour, and it's like an open house, but only for other agents. I encourage everyone to go out there. Same thing with open houses. One way for you to introduce yourself to the other agents, get to know them, get to know the market, and you never know, you plant that seed for agent attraction as well, I think. So same thing, kind of like Serge said. So if you're going to time block for lead generation for your business in terms of picking up clients, but also for agent attraction, if that's a arm of our company that you want to really investigate, intentional, I think, which is what a lot of the panel is saying. How do you guys stay motivated and focused, especially, sometimes we have tough days or months or clients or craziness. How do you stay focused and motivated every day? Aaron, what about you?
I make a habit of getting up. I get up early every morning and exercise. And while I'm at the gym, rather than listening to music or, you know, I used to listen to music while I was at the gym. Now I'm listening to podcasts or I'm doing my cardio while reading. And I think it helps really stay on track, stay focused. For me, I don't know what it is, but I feel like if I'm on the stationary bike or the treadmill and I have my book and I'm reading is an active, reading is active as opposed to listening to a podcast, which would be passive. So to me, the combination of exercising and reading, I feel like I just absorb it so much better. And I'm even more motivated and kind of ready to nerd out and get into business when I'm done exercising after taking that info in. And, you know, my wife and we're entrepreneurs. We've got 3 children. We've got a mortgage.
Okay.
Our medical insurance alone is over $2,000 a month. So pretty easy to stay motivated. I got people dependent on me.
Very true. I think it's because it's so much easier to focus on the words instead of watching the timer count down to how long you've been on that treadmill. All right, Rick, what about you? David from Thurston County has an open mic. So David, if you could turn off your mic, that would be great. And then Rick, how do you stay motivated and focused?
Well, you know, it's I've been doing it a long time. I guess the stuff I've had more fun the last 3 years since I joined EXP. It's probably the funnest stretch I've had in real estate, and I think it can be such a tough, challenging business that making sure you have some fun, that you have some personal time, trying to spend time with family and friends, and for me, you know, at this stage, I'm looking at retirement down the road, and I'm behind where I'd like to be in that regard. So, you know, that's always on my mind. I have a 5 rental properties, so I'm always looking for additional investment opportunities. And, you know, real estate's been a great career. I don't see myself ever stopping it. It has been a wonderful opportunity to meet great people and create fantastic friendships and help lots of people achieve home ownership and change their lives. So that enjoying that journey is probably helped me stay motivated as much as anything.
Yeah, there's nothing better than working with a first-time home buyer and 20 years later seeing, you know, they've gotten married, they've got kids, all the changes in their life, and being a part of that is definitely what keeps me motivated as well. Serge, what about you? What keeps you going?
You know, this goes back to my morning routine. I journal in the morning, and in my journal, the first thing I start writing about are my gratitude. What am I grateful for today? And that automatically puts me in a better frame of mind, raises my energy level. But then I start writing into 5 categories: financial, which is financial business, health, relationships, spiritual, and educational. Basically, what I'm writing down is what it is I want, as if I've already attained it, which basically are your goals. And if you're writing these down, you're starting to visualize what it is you want. You're visualizing as if you've already attained it and reached that and have that, which does a couple things. Number one, it should excite you. I mean, your goals should excite you. I mean, if your goals don't excite you, get new goals. So that should excite you. But also the fact that you're thinking about those goals, you're focusing on those goals, and you're visualizing them as if it's already happened. You're putting out that energy to attract, to get the things that'll bring you to get to those goals.
So what does that look like? Is that like wake up and you say, I am so grateful that I was able to pay off my car today, even though you haven't, but that's your goal for the end of the year? Is that what that looks like?
No, usually I'm grateful that my heart's still beating them, and I'm alive. But no, it's, I might start out with, I'm grateful for my life. And I've had a lot of health issues in the last few years, so um, you know, I'm grateful that whatever issue I was is now past. I'm grateful for my business because it brings me unlimited income and opportunities. Right? I could be grateful that I'm meeting a new client today. I could be grateful that I'm meeting a new realtor today for coffee. To, thank them for doing a deal, or to talk to them about the EXP opportunity. Um, I'm grateful for my wife. Without my wife, I wouldn't have the lifestyle that I have. Without her support, I wouldn't be here today. So,
Yeah, I think as Kevin put it in the chat, what does it look like an example of how you word your goal that you're writing as if it had happened?
uh, you know, I'll say, well, grateful that I'm a multimillionaire. I have $3 million in liquid assets. I live in my dream home, and then I'll describe my dream home, to the T. It's the size of home with a walkout basement backing onto a lake, has a triple or greater attached garage with one of the bays having a lift. In case you haven't figured it out, I'm a car guy. So it's everything that you want, but be as specific as you can and attach an emotion to it. How you feel having attained that. Because when you attach an emotion to it, it changes the frequency and the power of the energy that you're putting out on that particular thought.
I agree with that 100%. We're going to have a couple of questions, but let's just end with this, and then we'll open it up to the audience for questions. What is the one thing you'd like to share or have the audience take away from today that can help them with their business? Aaron, why don't you start?
I would say just because real estate has been done a certain way, don't let that box you in. Think out of the box. Think about ways to do things that others aren't doing. Self-educate as much as possible and just put yourself in a position to succeed. Even agents from other brokerages, my experiences, open houses, anything else, especially if you go to an open house or if you're new, you've never done an open house, take a Saturday or a Sunday and go visit 3 or 4 open houses. See what people are doing that you like, that you don't like. Find a way to create your own system. Don't feel like you have to mold yourself after what someone else may or may not be doing. And the business will come if you approach everything with a genuine interest in helping other people. Worry about the money later. I've closed numerous deals where I don't even know the commission amount until the day I got paid. It could have been a 1% commission or a 3% commission, and I don't care about that. I don't look at that until it's over, because my goal is helping my client achieve their goal, their dream of selling or buying a house. So I put the clients first, and I always keep that at the forefront. And I've been blessed in real estate ever since, and it's a direct result of putting the client first, myself second. And if you do that, you'll be successful. Try to self-educate as much as possible, but at the same time, don't overthink it. You're there to help people. And EXP, being able to sit down in your pajamas and log in and get help anytime you need, is absolutely priceless. I came from another brokerage where it wasn't always that easy, and the resources we have at our fingertips is something that everybody should just take advantage of. And yeah, you'll do.
I agree. That's great. What about you, Rick? What's one thing you'd like to share with the audience and have them take away from today?
Yeah, have a long-term perspective on the business. Take good care of the people and they'll come back to you. Don't burn any bridges with agents. And you'll have a successful career.
Well, All right, Serge, what about you?
I have a couple things. I think, a little bit about what was mentioned here earlier. Um, Try to find a niche that you really connect to and work that niche market. Become really good at whatever. Become the specialist in an area. Find your niche and really work that. And that, I think, is a kind of a great way to get a few things started. We were talking about it at a mentor meeting yesterday with our board, and you know, people were saying, "Well, how do I get out of you know people from my own background, my own culture? I don't know what country he was from. He had a very thick accent, anyways." And I said, "Well, you know what? Don't worry about everybody else right now. Become the realtor, the specialist within your own community. Focus on that, and the rest will come. You'll start getting referrals from outside sources, and you can expand from there." And the other one is get really good at controlling your schedule and your time. Learn time blocking. Time blocking will help you achieve more in a day.
Yes, and just for anyone who's newer, know that we still struggle with that. Even though it says icon after, at least I'm speaking for myself, I struggle with that daily. That I have a time block, but it's how do you stick to it? How do you implement? So I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed of, oh my gosh, I've got to do all this stuff, implement all these ideas I just heard today. We struggle with it too. We're not paragons. So we are all available, either workplace, chat. You can always, find us online or, Facebook, email, and we're always happy to help. You have questions, either speak up or stick it in the chat box. And I'm sure we got a couple of minutes left. The panelists would love to answer them. We were so awesome. Nobody has questions. Oh, 4 users are typing. Is there a time suggested for prospecting? Who wants to answer that?
I can. Typically, if it's allowable in your area, because here in Canada, because of privacy laws, we have some restrictions. But it's been kind of found out by some research that basically 8:30 to 10 a.m. in the mornings, and from 4 to 6:30 seems to be the most productive time. After that, I do a lot of my prospecting between 7 and 9 as well. If I don't have appointments that night and I'm working that night, I'll be prospecting between 7 and 9. That's when generally people are home after work.
I read an article that says any time that you will consistently do it is a good time. I think what happens is a lot of us are drilled to say, oh, you have to be in the office by 8:30 so that you're, practice your script, then you do role play, and then you start calling immediately at 9. And I don't think that works for everyone. Kind of like Aaron was saying, make your business your own. And honestly, I will do the same thing. I'm sitting on the couch. I've got lots of dogs and cats, and I'll be sitting on the couch in the evening and just start texting friends, or I see something on Facebook and, start those conversations. And it's a lot more natural that way. Oh yeah, let's talk about KV really quick. Serge, you seem to use it. Does anyone else use it? And what's your experience?
I use it on KV Core. If it has a power of 10, I'm probably using it at a power of 2 or 3. I'm not super tech savvy, and it's something that I'm currently in the process of studying up on now.
Yeah, I'm with Aaron. I don't use it. Serge, you answer it. You seem to use it.
Well, we created the drip campaigns, and we use the landing pages and the squeeze pages that you can create inside of it to do some marketing that we do. I, I'm probably that say that I'm kind of the same way. I'm only starting to use it. I'm not using it to its full potential because I'm a long-time user of another CRM, which is Top Producer. I've been using Top Producer since the DOS program back in the 80s. So, a lot of my database is still there, and I'm still working from that CRM. So I'm kind of working between flipping back and forth between two CRMs. But at some point, eventually, I'll be working with just the one. But if you're using primarily the website that you get with KV Core, really work with that CRM and learn it. It's a really powerful tool that you can use, and so much of the marketing can be done automatically for you. And just learn it. There's courses here given on KV Core on a regular basis here in the world. Use it. It'll be one of the best tools you have.
Sounds good. Thank you guys so much for coming. We all appreciate your time and listening. And as someone said, they got a lot of great nuggets. So we're very happy. That's why we do this. I hope to see everyone in Florida. I think that's going to be so much fun. Very exciting. And Judy, you might have to ask a different icon panel to do that, since apparently 3/4 of us don't really use it. But go join the EXP Workplace KV Core group. They'll help you. But thank you guys so much for your time today. We loved having you, and the panelists, all of you, you're great. Thank you for sharing your stories and insights, and have a great Memorial Day weekend, everyone.
Thanks, Brenda. Thanks, Serge. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Rico. It's nice to meet you guys.
All right, guys. Thank you. Let's
Yeah,
build a
Florida.
great company.